The story begins with Uli exploring the island and finding a mirror, so he thinks about using it and turning it into diving goggles. When he tries it and goes under the water with it, he finds himself unable to breathe, so he goes out again to adjust it and attach a large hose to it, and he actually succeeds. He goes down with it and begins to watch the sea world. He remains very happy with the shapes of the fish and the beauty of the water around him. At that time, he approaches a large fish and is very surprised. And suddenly his father Callow comes. He pulls him at the last moment before the fish devours him, and then takes him home with him and warns him that he must stay away from strange creatures and not go far from the island. Ali becomes upset and Callow learns that he loves to explore. While they are talking, Ali's grandmother enters and tells him the story of the Valley Mercury. Ali gets excited and loves to listen to the story. His grandmother begins to tell him that there was a mercury living in the valley, and it was a predator, and it preyed on all the animals to some extent until one day the trees of the valley appeared. They were giant, good trees and began to spread goodness in the place. They had a strange magical ability, which was that they could transform animals into other beings, but on the day of the evil mercury, he stole Alzo's guidance, turned it into evil energy, and used it to burn part of the trees and expel the rest. From then on, he remained the sole ruler of the valley. Despite this, Ali is not afraid of the story and expects it to be more frightening than that. At this time, Ali goes out with his mother and father and they go away to celebrate the flock, and they are celebrating that they were able to collect the largest amount of food for the winter. Meanwhile, Ali notices the dry bird sitting on the ground, so the best one lets it come close to it and offers it food. The bird likes the taste very much and goes to get another one and starts asking Ali to open it. Ali helps him and opens the food for him and starts teaching him how to open it and eat on his own. Suddenly, he comes and calls him to Ali and warns him that he is approaching the bird. But Ali tells him that it is just a small bird. He is hungry, and at this moment the bird calls for his family, and when they come, the bird teaches them how to eat, and this makes the number increase, and the rest of the birds in the area begin to come as well to eat. And at that time the situation gets out of control and the birds quickly finish off the food supply, so Ali and his family try to stop them, but they are not able, and with time the number of birds increases more and more. So Ali becomes upset because everything that happened is because of him, and he grabs the mirror and throws it away. It breaks and then the mirror reflects the sun's rays and produces light. So Ali comes up with the idea that he directs the light towards the birds in order to keep them away. And he actually does that, and the birds are disturbed and fly far away, so Ali is happy that his plan succeeded. But suddenly a bird attacks him, so he tries to quickly reflect the light back on him. But the bird loses his balance, and he and Ali roll on the ground. At this time, Ali falls into a large hole and gets stuck in the ropes and sees there is a luminous flower. So he gets afraid and tries to pull the rope out. But it gets cut off and falls on the flower, and on the other hand, Ali's family goes out to look for him after he is late. And they keep calling for him on the island until they hear his voice answering them and informing them that he is in the hole, and the first time Ali comes out of it, they are surprised by the presence of the bird, so they become afraid and run away. Then Ali calls for them and informs them that it is him. At that time, they are surprised that Ali's voice is the one speaking, and they expect that the bird has eaten. So they throw stones at the bird and fear with fire. Ali returns because of them until he falls off the hill, and the next day in the morning, Ali rises up and finds himself in a strange place with 3 birds of the coven. They talk to him and tell him that they are the ones who saved him, but he is afraid of them and runs. At that moment, the birds are surprised by his behavior and offer him to go live with them on the mountain. But he refuses and tells them that this is his place and he will not leave him. They convince him that they will cure him, and the rest of the flock will also live there, and at this moment Ali looks to himself. He discovers that his appearance has changed and he has wings and remains resembling dry birds. So he wails and starts to remove the feathers on him. They make the birds laugh at his behavior. Meanwhile, an insect passes next to Uli and they take a break from him. He widens the path for it, so Uli widens the path for it and lets it pass. At that time, the birds are surprised that he knows how to talk to insects. They also tell him that he has the ability to swim because they were saving them. Yesterday, his head was falling into the water, and yet his head was falling into the water. Fidel-Aesh and Bardo are 2 birds whose head hit such and such a rock and nothing happened. But while they were talking, they heard the sound of a wolf, so they asked Uli to fly with them quickly. But he told them that he could not fly, so they had to act and change their appearance and turn their feathers black, and then they hide it in the trees and fly. Then the wolf comes, and the first thing Uli sees is the wolf. The firebrand whose grandmother told him about him remains silent until he walks, and as soon as he is sure that the Mercury is walking, he goes to the river and loses himself. At that moment, the fish that she tried to eat before appears to him, and he thinks about it to himself and tells her that his appearance changed because of a luminous flower from the trees of the Azu, so she tells him the fish. She heard about it, so Ali asks her if she knows where another flower is, and she tells her that there is one near the dead round tree. Ali is happy and thanks her and walks on his way there. On the way, he meets Avi and one of the birds that made him happy. They ask her why he left the place, so Ali tells her that he is going to the dead tree so he can take the bright flower and return to normal again. In fact, Ali delivers it and is forced to run over the rocks in the river, so they find out. Avi is going to help her and bring it, but Uli prevents her from touching it. But she does not hear his words and takes it, and suddenly she turns into the animal Poco. So Uli gets angry and tells her that she has lost his life, and then Avi is very surprised by its appearance. Meanwhile, Uli sees the fish swimming in the sea, so he runs quickly towards her and asks her if she knows the location of another flower. They learn that there is one at the great waterfall on the other bank of the river, so he is happy. Ali and Avi take it and walk away, but the fish has not finished talking and wanted to prevent them from doing anything, but they are walking. At this time, Ali and Avi are walking together in the valley, and suddenly they hear the sound of the wolf, so they hide behind the tree, but the lizard sees them and runs after them. So Ali and Avi run quickly until they reach the cave and enter it. At that time, the wolf is afraid to enter after them. So Ali and Avi are surprised. They don't come in and see her, so they say that she smells a strange and strong smell, so they stop. She closes her eyes and concentrates on her sense of smell because she has a strong sense of smell, and she tries to identify the smell, so she does that and discovers that it is the smell of extreme fatigue. They are hiding inside the tree trunks. So Ali thinks that he is using Afi to know where the seeds are smelling. So he starts walking and stepping in the places that she tells him to smell until they get away. Indeed, they succeed in this, but the snails get annoyed and howl loudly, and this makes them wake up and get tired. When they see Ali and Effie running after them and trapping them in a high place, they are forced to jump from above. At this moment, Ali is encouraged and flies, and catches Effie, carrying her on his back and flying into the sky. He is very happy with the experience of flying, but the time begins to get dark, so they decide to rest and continue on their way. But in the morning, Ali feels hungry, so AFI offers him a stem and tells him that they were in a famine and they lost part of their family because of it. She tells him that she was young and by chance met one of the Buku and he taught her how to open bubbly seeds. So Ali is silent because he will be the one who made her happy. The next day in the morning, Ali and AFI wake up and see the waterfall from afar. Ali quickly takes AFI and flies to the waterfall, but when they arrive, they meet her. The wolves are there and they also see the fish, and she calls to them and tells them that she tried to warn them about them, but they got carried away. She suggests to them that she would be prey for the wolves, so that she would occupy them and take them to the place with flowers. Ali is surprised by her actions, but the fish tells them that they are her only friends and that she wishes that she would remain like any of them so that she could be with them. Ali tells her that they will bring her a flower and let her transform with them. Meanwhile, the fish comes out over the rocks and the first wolf is there. They see her running on her, so she jumps again into the water quickly, and then the wolf runs after her. On the other hand, Ali and Evie find only one flower, so Evie approaches her and tells Ali that she will transform into the first one so that she can fly and help him, but Ali refuses and asks that he be the one who transforms because his family needs him because of the famine, especially since it happened because of him because he is the Poku who taught them to eat. But at this moment the wolf delivers to them, so they ask for Ali and Evie. Help comes from the fish, but the wolf gets very close to them and is forced to bounce both of them on the flower at the same time, which makes them turn into fish and quickly jump into the water. Ali gets upset because of what happened and decides to walk alone. But the fish intervenes and informs them that they must stand next to each other until they reach the flowers. Then Evie feels sorry for Ali and apologizes to him for everything that happened because of her. So Ali forgives her, and they swim together until they reach the flower. At the waterfall, here they unite with each other like one fish and swim until they reach the first part of the waterfall, But then a group of bears appear and try to eat them, so they quickly run away from them and stand next to each other until they reach the second part. At that time, the snails are waiting for them above, and suddenly a small mercury falls and gets stuck in the branch of the tree. The first one is afraid of it and pecks it before the bears eat it and throw it at its family, so its mother comes to take it and it goes away. In the end, they all reach the illuminated back, and Evie hops on it and turns into a bird, while Ollie returns to his normal self and he too. Then they ask the fish about its transformation, so it hops on the back and turns into a fiery mercury. Ollie and Evie are surprised by its nature, and at that time the mercury informs them that he will take his rights from them and burn the whole Wazi and take revenge on himself because all the time they are trying to keep him away and they do not love him. And he tells them that the trees trapped his evil and embodied him in the form of a fish. During this period, he is waiting for someone new to come and help him so that he can return to normal again, so Evie tries to lift him up, but he trains her and knocks her to the ground and then he runs away. Ollie is afraid for Evie and tries to outpace her, but she loses consciousness. At that time, he decides to take her to the flock to save her. So he ties her up and drags her until he reaches the mountain, where her brothers come and take her. They treat her, so Ollie gets sad and thinks he lost her, but she is doing well and is doing well, so Ollie is happy and hugs her. At this time, the whole flock of birds see the Wazi burning, so Evie encourages them and makes them stand beside them and be one hand, so they succeed and take Ollie and fly there, and then they see the animals trapped in the middle of the fire, so they decide that they will guide them to the path to the river, and the birds actually succeed in guiding them to the path to the bank, but suddenly, lizards appear and the other animals are afraid of them, but the lizards thank Uli for helping their son and decide to help them too, so they remove the animals on tree trunks and take them to Buko Island. At this time, Kalu and the rest of the Buko are afraid of them and prevent them from entering the island. Uli intervenes and makes them understand the situation and tells them to cling to each other. Kalu agrees and allows them to enter, and at this time they let all the animals into the island, but at this moment it is in my hands. The fire wolf decides to go after them on the island to recover from them. Here, Ollie quickly thinks that he will go to the hole he fell into before, and when he goes, he holds the ropes and hopes that only one back will come out for him. Suddenly, the back is really lit and it comes out for him, so Ollie is happy and asks that he transform into the alzo tree. So Ollie turns into a giant tree and goes to face the fire weevil and tells him to move away from the place. But the wolf tells him that he will not walk until it burns. Every time, my father tries to use his smarts and a bright back comes out and starts to take it and throw it at him so they can change his appearance. But the mercury lands on Ollie and rises up and burns him and makes him know that he is always quieter than him. So Ollie is forced to chain the fiery mercury to his roots and then destroys the river's smoke and makes the water flood the valley and extinguish the fire in it. He and the mercury drown in the water, so my father flies away and she looks for Ollie every time. But she can't find him and she goes back to inform Callow and his mother about what happened and they all get upset about Ollie. As time passes, all the animals live together on the island again, and the plants begin to fill it again as before. Suddenly, a large group of alzo trees appear and come to their lives. They are all surprised that they are still there, and here Effie flies and looks for Ollie among them. When they see his behavior, she is very happy and runs to him and hugs him and asks him about what happened. Then Ollie learns that the azo tree was strong and drowned and they killed him and returned to his normal self again. So they take Effie and let him go and greet his family. So they are all happy that Ollie is back. And in the end, the azo tree returns to the island again and they all live together in peace. And this concludes today's story.